Hello guys, welcome back. Hope you all are doing absolutely fine. So today we'll be starting a new series of surgery, general surgeries 20 markers. We'll be covering some important questions of general surgery which are often asked in our papers for 20 marks. So I hope this series helps you out to revise or either form a new foundation to begin your studies with. So the first topic which we'll be covering today is shock, 20 marker of shock, and we'll be covering this full topic in its whole depth, and we'll be covering all the aspect of shock in this answer along with the homeopathic therapeutics as well. So I hope this video helps you all out. So without much ado, let's begin. So as we all know, we begin with definition. Definition: shock is a condition in which circulation fails to meet the nutritional need of the cells and at the same time fails to remove the metabolic waste product. So as we all know that there are many different ways wherein the definition of shock could be presented. So we'll again look into some other definition, but mainly remember that in this condition, it's a life-threatening clinical syndrome in which there is hypoperfusion, which is definitely because of the circulation failure and the nutritional needs of the cells are not met. So, other definition of shock. Shock is a condition in which vital functions of the body are depressed due to severe and acute reduction in cardiac output and circulation. Now let us look into the classification. Also, I would like to mention my friend Arzu and thank her for sharing these notes and being generous enough to share, which will, I am sure, which will help a large number of students out there, including me as well. So thanks a lot. Now let us move into the classification. Classification of shock. The first and foremost and the most important classification and the most frequently asked 5 marker in our paper which could occur is the hypovolemic shock. Hypovolemic shock occurs due to loss of blood, plasma or body water and electrolytes, that is loss of intravascular volume. It could be caused by hemorrhage, vomiting, diarrhea and dehydration. Characteristic: decreased filling pressure of the heart, decreased systemic arterial pressure, tachycardia, increased vascular resistance. Compensatory mechanisms which our body starts in order to compensate the ill effects of shock, that are adrenergic discharge and hyperventilation. Adrenergic discharge occurs within 1 minute of blood loss. There is also release of vasoactive hormones. The renin-angiotensin-aldosterone mechanism also begins, and initially that leads to vasoconstriction. It occurs within 1 to 2 minutes of the blood loss. There is collapse. There is also reabsorption of fluid from the interstitial tissue, reabsorption of fluid from the intercellular to extracellular space, and there is also renal conservation of the body water and electrolytes. So guys, what we have covered and seen till here is that कि एक शॉक एक ऐसी कंडीशन है जहाँ पे हमारी बॉडी में से एक बॉडी की टिश्यूज की नीड जो होती है, विच इज न्यूट्रिशन, its oxygen supply is not met because there is a circulation failure. So हमें याद रखना है कि जो important keywords है यहाँ पे याद रखने के लिए, which is hypoperfusion, hyperventilation. There is also reduction in the BP, which is hypotension, which we'll be covering ahead. But just ये याद रखिएगा, and classification is important है याद रखने के लिए, in which hypovolemic is again self-explanatory, wherein hypo which means less and volumic which is reduction in the volume, and that leads to shock. And it is more or less self-explanatory and nothing much to explain it here. So let us move on. The clinical features of shock. There are generally 3 types of shock which we can see: mild shock, moderate shock and the severe shock. So let us look into the mild shock. Loss of less than 20% of blood volume. So we have to remember that in mild shock there is blood volume loss which is less than 20%. There is collapse of subcutaneous veins of the extremities, particularly those of the feet, which become pale and cool. There may be sweat on the forehead, hand and feet. Urinary output, pulse rate and blood pressure are normal and the patient feels thirsty and cold. So this is the initial stage of shock. Then we move on to the moderate shock. Loss of 20 to 40% of the blood volume. So you have to remember that the ratio goes on to 20 to 40 and lastly more than 40% of blood loss. So moderate shock, loss of 20 to 40% of blood volume. Along with above mentioned conditions, oliguria pulse is also increased but usually less than 100 beats per minute. Initially BP remains normal but may fall later, which leads to hypotension. And lastly, we look into the severe shock. Loss of blood volume of more than 40%, pallor, low urinary output, which is oliguria, rapid pulse, which is tachycardia, and low blood pressure, which is hypotension, are some important clinical features of the severe shock. Then we move into the next shock classification, which is traumatic shock. So the causes of traumatic shock are major fractures, crush injuries, burn, extensive soft tissue injury, intra-abdominal injuries. So as the word suggests, traumatic, which is trauma, any trauma that could lead to shock. The clinical features are presence of peripheral and pulmonary edema. Pathophysiology of traumatic shock is that there is excessive bleeding, which leads to hypovolemia. Intravascular inflammatory response is initiated, which leads to increase in vascular permeability and further hypovolemia, which eventually leads to hypoxia. The third one, neurogenic shock, it is caused by paraplegia, quadriplegia, trauma to the spinal cord, and spinal anesthesia. So neurogenic, as the word suggests, involves the nerves and our spinal cord and the different paralysis which could play a role into it. So now let us look into the pathophysiology of the neurogenic shock. There is blockage of sympathetic nervous system, which leads to loss of arterial and venous tone with pooling of blood in the dilated peripheral nervous system. Heart doesn't feel properly, which leads to decreased cardiac output, and eventually the outcome will be low BP with normal pulse rate and warm and dry skin. Psychogenic shock. It may follow sudden fright from unexpected bad news or from sight of a horrible accident. Its intensity varies from temporary unconsciousness to sudden death. Vasovagal shock. It is also a part of neurogenic shock in which there is pooling of blood due to dilatation of peripheral vascular system, which leads to reduced venous return to heart. Then there is low cardiac output, which leads to bradycardia, and finally there is reduced cerebral perfusion, which leads to cerebral hypoxia, and finally unconsciousness. The fourth one, which is cardiogenic shock, as the word says cardiogenic, it is related to the heart, and the causes could be injury to heart, myocardial infarction, which is heart attack, cardiac arrhythmias, and congestive cardiac failure. Pathophysiology. Heart fails to pump blood, mainly left ventricle fails. There is overdistension of the right ventricle, which leads to increase of back pressure in the pulmonary capillaries, which indeed leads to pulmonary edema and hypoxia. And once hypoxia is generated, there is gradually vascular volume will increase as a result of salt and water retention by hyperperfused kidneys. Some clinical features of a cardiogenic shock could be pale and cold skin, oliguria, rapid pulse, blood pressure which is low, hypertension again, and neck veins are visible. Then we move on to the next type of shock, which is septic shock, which is due to gram-negative septicemia, occurs in severe septicemia, cholangitis, peritonitis, and meningitis. So here the basic cause and the etiological factors are bacteria. Pathophysiology. In the early stage, the carbon monoxide increases, which leads to vascular resistance decrease. In later stage, there is vascular permeability, which is increased, which leads to blood volume decrease in the blood volume, and which eventually results in hypovolemia. In advanced cases, cardiac function may be damaged due to toxins liberated by bacteria. Clinical features include chill, temperature above 100 degree Fahrenheit, and pulse are increased, which is tachycardia. And lastly, we look into the anaphylactic shock, usually seen after penicillin administration or serum administration, dextrose, anesthetics, etc. Such shock is usually caused by bronchospasm, laryngeal edema, and respiratory distress, which leads to hypoxia. This is aggravated by massive vasodilatation, hypotension, and eventually leading to shock. This type of shock is said to be due to increased release of histamine and slow release substance of anaphylaxis by combination of antigen with IgE on the mast cells and basophils. Histamine, which is a vasodilator, and SRS, which are slow release substance of anaphylaxis, cause bronchospasm, laryngeal edema, respiratory distress, and severe vasodilatation. Very important to remember. It is an exaggerated allergic reaction. So now guys, we'll again look into the classification once again, wherein the classification of shock, we have the hypovolemic shock, then we had the traumatic shock, then we covered the neurogenic shock, and then we had the vasovagal shock, cardiogenic shock, septic shock, and finally we looked into anaphylactic shock. So generally these meanings are self-explanatory. The meaning of the word itself lies in the word, so it is quite easy to get in. Then we look into an important 5 marker which can be separately asked from your topic of shock, which is crush syndrome. Crush syndrome definition: it is a symptom complex in which a portion of the body becomes crushed due to heavy weight which falls on that portion of the body, resulting in crushing of all the tissues in that portion of the body. Again, very self-explanatory, nothing much to explain here. Causes could be earthquake, mine injuries, air raids, collapse of building, use of tourniquet for long period. So wherever, if you even forget the causes, you can try to remember it with common sense. Just try to imagine this scenario with the definition, and you can easily get into the conclusion of earthquakes, mine injuries, air raids, and other factors. Pathology: extraction of the blood into muscles in affected portion of the body. There is oligemic shock which results. The muscles become crushed. So there are two possibilities, wherein first one, there is swelling considerably which lead to tension, development of tension within the fascia, endangers circulation, and lastly results in ischemic damage to the limb. There could also be myohemoglobin which enters the circulation and it causes acute renal tubular necrosis. Clinical features include severe pain in the limbs, limb feel tense, there is uremia, oliguria, restlessness, apathy, and mild delirium. Treatment could be parallel incisions should be applied to relieve tension, IV fluid administration to combat shock, hemodialysis in grave condition. So after looking different classifications, now we move into the clinical monitoring of shock. Once shock is diagnosed, constant monitoring of the patient is required to assess the degree of blood loss and hemodynamic impairment. Blood pressure, respiration, urine output, central venous pressure, ECG, and Swan-Ganz catheter are some important points which we need to keep in mind for the management of the shock. General management of shock includes airway and breathing should be assessed first. If the trachea is obstructed, intubation should be done. If breathing is inadequate, patient should be ventilated. Blood pressure should be maintained above 90 millimeter per of Hg. Systolic BP is must. So the BP should always be above 90. Administration of fluid blood in the hypovolemic shock, same is contraindicated in cardiogenic shock. Then we have to take look, and taking good and accurate history of the patient is necessary. Physical examination includes heart rate and rhythm. Tachycardia is universal feature of shock, which is a very important point to remember, and it's but obvious that your heart will beat fast to compensate the circulatory failure. There is quality of pulse which needs to be measured and checked, wherein we'll have small volume, thready pulse characterizes the shock. The small volume and the thready pulse characterizes shock. Then we have pallor, which indicates hemorrhage, body temperature, which is cold, cyanosis. Signs of ventricular failure as S3, jugular venous distension, edema, pulmonary crepitations, and etc. are heard. Signs of dehydration: loss of skin turgor, dry tongue, sunken eyeballs, and etc. And lastly, insertion of lines, intravenous lines either central or peripheral by percutaneous cut down needs to be inserted for rapid infusion of the fluids of drug. The urinary bladder should be catheterized since the patient cannot go to the washroom. And lastly, monitoring and investigations. For monitoring, we need to keep in mind the heart rate, the rhythm, the blood pressure, oxygen saturation, and urine output. And investigations which are generally advised are a hemogram, urine examination, chest x-ray, cardiac injury, enzymes, and serum electrolytes. The treatment part: resuscitation starts immediately, clears airway, maintain adequate ventilation and oxygenation, lower the level of head to improve venous return and cerebral circulation. Intubation and airway obstructions should be done. Control bleeding by compression bandage and extracellular fluid replacement. And lastly, after covering all the points of shock, we move into some homeopathic therapeutics, some important drugs which are important in shock. And first one, and the foremost and the most important one for shock, is camphora. Camphora: ailments from bad effects of shock from injury, cold air, sunstroke. Mind: great anxiety, extreme fear, fear of person, darkness, delirium, condition with heat, rage and mania, tosses about anxiously in bed with almost loss of consciousness. Guiding symptoms: cannot bear to be covered, throws off all the coverings. Collapse condition with coldness and lividity. Pain is better while thinking of it. Profound prostration with rapid sinking of strength. scantiness of discharges, diarrhea, vomiting, sweat, urine, etc., and painfully sensitive to slight touch. It has internal heat and external heat, cramps with icy coldness of limbs, indicated in conditions of sudden collapse from overpowering influences. Modalities are the aggravating factors, which are when half asleep, motion, night, cold air, and ameliorating factors are free discharge, thinking about the complaints. Next drug which is very important for our shock is carbovegetalis. Carboveg, physical look, cachectic young or old persons whose vitality has been weakened due to bad effects of exhaustion disease, hemorrhagic diathesis, mind, weakness of memory and slowness of thought. Modalities, aggravating factors are extremes of temperature and ameliorating factor is fanning. Fanning is again a very important keynote of carboveg. The patient needs fanning from nearby, and irritations and elevating feet. Mainly affects the venous side of the economy, producing symptoms of imperfect oxidation, blueness, ecchymosis, and passive hemorrhage, resulting from deficient capillary circulation. Ailments from is loss of vital fluids, and guiding symptoms include hypocritic face, pale, cold sweat on forehead. Skin is cyanosed, cold to touch, ecchymosed due to venous stasis. In the later stage of disease with cold sweat, cold breath, cold tongue, voice lost, cold knees at night. Symptoms of imperfect oxidation resulting from deficient capillary circulation, causing blueness of skin and coldness of extremities. Wants to be fanned rapidly and from a close distance, and wants clothing loose around the abdomen. Then we have the final drug, which is veratrum album for shock, wherein we have the ailments from fight, shock, injury, profuse diarrhea, and vomiting. So you can always write the ailments from, which are general in all the different ones. The mind symptoms of veratrum. Three types of mania. First, violent and destructive. Second, lascivious, does not want to cover his private parts and lies naked on the bed. And third one is religious and talks about God all the time. Guiding symptoms of veratrum. Sensation of a lump of ice on the vertex. Rapid sinking of vital force. Complete prostration and collapse condition. Cold perspiration all over the body, especially on forehead. Unquenchable thirst for large quantities of cold water. Modalities include aggravating factors, which are eating, cold drinks, and least motion, and ameliorating hot drinks and warmth. So with this, guys, we cover the part of our shock in 18 pager, which is quite intense and detailed, in which we cover the definition. Then we look into the classifications, some different types of shock which could individually ask for 5 markers. We look into the pathophysiology, the mechanism, and the clinical features of tachypnea, tachycardia, hypotension, and everything. So with this, guys, we have covered this topic of shock, and I hope this video helps you out to either start the studies of the general surgery and form a good base, or either revise before examinations. We always tell you all that read your textbooks again and again firmly, and make your concepts firm from your textbooks, and always refer these revision videos and explanatory videos at the end or in the beginning, wherein either you are starting or you are covering and revising everything. So with that said, I thank you all, and also please do like, share and subscribe to our channel. It will motivate us to make more and more such series and videos for you all. Thank you very much. Until next time. See ya.